everyone, welcome to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. I'm Linda, and I am about to feed my chickens this morning, and I wanted to put some stuff on the compost bin, and I wanted to show you all what the compost bin is looking like. I had some questions asked about the compost, and so I just want to show you all how I am working with the compost, and also the chicken manure that I removed from the chicken coop. I do add it to the compost, and I'll be showing you what it is looking like. But first, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to feed these girls and guys because, as you can hear, Tiny's getting impatient. He like, come on with the food, lady. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give them something to eat. So this should not take long because they are ready. Excuse me. Hello. How are you all? Some of y'all come over here. Here you go. There you go. As I told you all, they are molting. Some of them are molting and they look pretty bad. Their feathers are thinning out, but those feathers will grow back. This is just a natural process that the chickens go through and that they are okay. So as long as I see that they are healthy and they're happy, I'm fine. And I'm just adding some grit to the chicken coop so they can have something to help them to digest their food. And I also will be adding a little of the apple cider vinegar to their water. It only takes a few drops of the apple cider vinegar in the water. Okay, so I was able to get a half a dozen eggs. Okay, this is what the scraps look like. I'm gonna try this like this. This is what the scraps look like. And you can save all types of stuff. If you do not know, I know some of you know, but some of you may not know. Y'all, this is just some pineapple scraps. I got some paper towel rollers, and I have some lint from my dryer. All of these things are things that I save. I save potatoes, peels. I put all of that into my compost. And eggshells, orange peels, as you can see, grapefruit peels, letters, junk mail, bills. I put that into my compost. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to throw this in. But right now, what you are looking at is mostly the saving of my my scraps. This stuff has not started to break down. As you can see, I got those boxes on top, and they have not started to break down. But what will happen with some of these boxes is in a day or so, I'm just throwing this stuff in here. And oh, another thing, like this, some of my kids' snack stuff. We don't, I don't worry about that shiny on the outside. I throw that in too. They say don't do it, but there's a lot of cardboard in here to throw away, so I save these. I mean, I put them in my compost, so I'm sure at some time or another, it might take it longer to break down, but at some point, this is going to break down. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in. You don't have to put it in yours, but I'm going to put it in mine because I believe that it will break down. But even if it does not break down immediately, it might not get the chance to because I do a lot of raised bed gardening. So I have 2 raised beds that I need to put together that are inside the house right now. And I am planning on getting another one that I'm going to be putting together. And so when I come out and I'm getting ready to fill that raised bed, instead of using a lot of soil, potting mixes, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to get some of these boxes. This is a pile and it has a lot of tree limbs on it. This is doing some of the winter cleanup. This is not the way this is supposed to be. That is not the way that's supposed to be either, because that is a compost bin right there that was one of these. And oh, I did not show you all this. Because I don't know if I ever showed you all when I actually made these compost bins. These are just some hardware cloth that I took and I rolled together and fastened it together with some zip ties, and I stood it up and started pouring materials in it. Grass clippings from the yard, leaves, as I said, bills, boxes, kitchen scraps. Okay. This one has broken down a lot. I really need to get in here and turn this some more. It has broken down a lot. This one looks pretty good. These are the ones that I was more fond of at a time like now when I'm looking in there and see how well it has broken down. And there is a door at the bottom that I can open. This is where you want to open it up and go inside, and you're supposed to lift it up. Okay, so that is the door that I just opened at the bottom, and that is where you go to retrieve your compost. So I'm just gonna pull out just a little bit, let you all see. Can you see what it looks like? It is just compost. And so it has broken down a lot. I'm gonna cover that back up. But that is what you are striving for. You want your scraps, your boxes, and all that to break down. But as I said, a lot of this will not get the chance to break down in these compost bins. These will go into the bottom of my raised beds. So here's another one. It has a lot of boxes on top. A lot is the chicken bedding. And so this is where I put the chicken bedding, because for one thing, I want the chicken bedding to kill these weeds. From the looks of it right now, this is the compost that is going to be the first compost to get used now, since that bed has the chicken manure on top of it. So I will be using this compost. In the summer, when I'm really needing this compost, is when I'm really not using it as much. To be honest with you all, this compost might not be used. If I don't use it in the next fill, when I'm filling this next raised bed, it won't get used till next winter, because of the fact that when spring hits, these compost bins get filled with wasps and other critters. And I try to go away from the wasps and critters, not to them. It looks really good. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is plant some onions, y'all. I got these onions that I just purchased, and I am going to add some bone meal. And y'all, this bone meal look a little different. This bone meal is from Burpee. It's Burpee Organic. And it looks a little different from the bone meal that I usually have out here in the garden, I usually have bone meal that looks white, but this one is kind of brown. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this in, and I'm also going to add some fertilizer. And the one that I'm using is Dr. Earth's organic all-purpose fertilizer. And it's a 222 NP and K. I'm just gonna sprinkle some of this in. So you all don't be afraid. If you use fertilizer, don't be afraid to put your fertilizer in there when you're putting it on a crop that you really want to get off to a good start. I know everyone don't use them, but I like to use fertilizers. And this one is not high in nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium, but it is a balanced fertilizer because all three numbers are the same. So it is balanced. So it's not like it has a whole lot of nitrogen or a whole lot of phosphorus or a whole lot of potassium. It has the same ratio of each of those. So that is what that means. That 222 is, that first one is nitrogen, the next one is phosphorus, and the last one is potassium. So that's for my new gardeners. I just want to make sure that I let you all know what that means, so that you'll be aware whenever you're purchasing your fertilizers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to mix this up a little. Get my fertilizers mixed in to my soil. Because y'all know I'm serious about these onions. That's why I'm constantly buying onions. I want to make sure that I get enough. I told you all I had been purchasing onions from the store. And I've been purchasing them for a while from the store. But I know that onions will last for a long time. They will store for a long time. If you store them properly, you can have onions for a long time. You want to make sure that they're kept in a dry, dark place. That you leave your skins on. You don't want to take the skins off. You want to make sure that it is on intact, and those onions will store. And that will keep you from having to go to the store and purchase onions. I want to achieve it or come as close to it as I can. So what I'm going to plant first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with these red candy onions. Y'all, my technique for planting onions is just push them in, and you don't want to push them in too deep. You want to space them far enough apart where you'll be able to get a nice sized onion, because if you put them right up on each other, then they will not have space to grow. So if I put those two right there, that's two right there. If I put both of them together, then there's no room for that onion to grow. So I want to make sure that I put them far enough apart. I have some yellow candy onions planted in this bed and some red candy onions. As I told you all in my last video, I do not know which of my other onions are which, because they did not have a label on the onions themselves. They had a label on the bin that the onions were in. And I'm going to try to go ahead and get all of my onions planted, because I don't want to just have my onions you know, just holding on to them because I want them to go ahead and get into the ground so they can suck up as much of the coal that they need in order to go ahead and start to making some big bulbs of onions for me. If they don't all make big bulbs of onions, I can always use them as just onion tops. But to be honest with you all, I'm shooting for the bulb. Go ahead, I added my bone meal. And I'm going to add in my fertilizer. Yeah, I ran out of my burpee organic, so now I'm going to go ahead and use my Job's organic. And y'all, like I said, I am not partial to any variety of bone meal or anything like that. I use what's on sale or what's available. What I mean by that, sometimes you might want a certain brand that you've been getting, and then it just gets expensive, and you see something else that's much cheaper, and you just go for it. I got some greens that are coming up over here, so I'm not gonna pull my greens out. Got an onion right here from last year. I'm not gonna pull that out. Now I do have some stems right here that are sticking up. Let me see if they are rooted. No, they're easy. They coming up real easy, so that means they're not doing anything. We're gonna throw them to the side. They're just in here taking up space. But these right here, you see these greens on here, so they're not taking up space. They're working. So we're gonna go ahead and keep those. And now we're gonna just stick our onions in. Some places look like it had a little too much space in there, so I just went back and added some more onions because I don't want to waste any space. Just like right here, those are far apart, but then you got this whole big space in here, and that'd be enough room for another nice size onion, in my opinion. So I'll add another onion right there. And I think that they'll still have room enough to grow me a nice bulb. Okay, we got one more bed that we're gonna do some amendments on, and that is the bed that I've already sown some seeds in that are onion seeds, and the bed just looks real skimpy. I'll show you. Okay, y'all, this is the bed I've been talking about, and y'all know I've been telling you all that this bed is looking real skimpy. You can see that I have planted some onions in there. I've had this planted for a while, and yes, it probably is because they may have gotten stunted with the winter storm. I'm not sure, but I'm not happy with this bed at all as far as my onions are concerned. I cannot take a chance on having this huge bed. I think this is like an 8-foot bed. Just sit here with these little baby onions, and I'm not going to disturb the ones that I can see. I'm not going to take this little rake that I got, and I'm not going to plow them up. I'm going to sprinkle some bone meal in here, and I'm going to poke some more onions into this bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I said, put this bone meal in here, add some more fertilizer to this bed. I recently did add some fertilizer to the bed. I didn't put any bone meal in here recently, but I'm going to put both today. I added some fish emulsion recently, but I am not satisfied with this bed. Although I can see them better than I saw them at first. Because at first I said they had just went back underneath the soil. And they feel like they feel strong. The ones that are up above the soil, they really feel strong. Hope the bone meal don't cover them up where I can't see them, but I need this bone meal in here to get my onions that I'm about to plant now off to a good start. And I have some more onions planted, some more seeds planted over in my winter sow method. I showed you all a couple of videos ago. And they are doing well. So when they grow, we will have more onions to stick in these beds throughout the garden. I will be sticking some of them into some 5-gallon buckets. You want a good onion harvest so that we will have onions to put into storage and to share with our friends and family. Okay, so I got my onions right here. Just gonna start dropping them in. Okay, so I got this bed planted up, and I have a corner over there on that 12-foot raised bed that I did not finish. So I'm gonna go over there, and I have just a few left. And I'm gonna go over there and put these in that corner. So that was not enough onions to fill that corner, so I'm still gonna need some more onions. So I'll just fill that up later. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna water everything in. I'm going to be using my rainwater to water my onions in. And these onions are planted in the same bed that the garlic is planted in. I have garlic on this end. And all of these are the onions that I just planted. And the garlic doesn't need to be watered because it's been getting water for the last 3 days. It's been getting a lot of rain. Until your onions get established into their new home, you'll be needing to come and check to make sure that they're all still in the place where you planted them, because sometimes onions get blown around. This one, I guess I dropped. I'm just going to push it down in there. So you'll want to come out and look to see if they're still in, and if they're not, just push them back underneath the soil. And remember, try not to plant them too deep. I think that's sometimes the mistake that we make when planting our onions. We plant them too deep. And you all know I harvested some broccoli a few days ago, but I'm going to go ahead and harvest some more. This is broccolini, and I'm going to show you how I prepare it to go in the freezer. Okay, so this is what I've harvested, and this is what I'm going to prepare to go into the freezer. But I want to show you all that there is some cauliflower trying to grow on this plant. It has been really trying hard. I still have not gotten a head of cauliflower, but I want to show you all. So we're going to give it credit for trying, y'all. It still has not been able to make a head, but I do see that these spots are beginning to show back up on my plants. So hopefully we won't have this problem this year. Just going to keep an eye on it. Okay, the first thing I do is I go ahead and I get it washed up really good. So I just pour it into a sink of cold water and give it a good wash. You may have noticed I left some of these little flowers on there, and that is okay, because this is broccolini, and it's going to serve for a beautiful, beautiful dish, and those flowers will not hurt anything. They are edible. After I get my broccolini clean, I go ahead and I put it in a pot of boiling hot water to blanch. And this will be a quick process. So you don't even have to leave. You can stay right here. Because you will stir this around, make sure that they're all covered. And then you're not cooking it, you're just blanching it. And I think I'll probably do this for a minute up to 2 minutes, and then that is it. And then it is finished, and you will notice that it becomes a bright green in color. And I want to go ahead and remove them, being careful because it is very hot at this point. And it is also wilted down some. I like to use a spoon, a slotted spoon, so that I can pick it up and it will drain the excess hot water off. Next, I'm going to be pouring the hot broccolini that has just been blanched. I'm going to pour it over into a bowl that has been sitting in some ice water. I'm still running some water in there, but there is ice in here, and this is going to immediately cool the broccolini off to stop this cooking process. I like to leave mine in a colander so that I can strain it easily. I don't have to fish it back out again. But sometimes if I have a larger amount, I may have to just pour it all over in there, because you want to make sure that all of the broccoli process, the cooking process is stopping on all of the broccoli. And so once this broccoli is cool to the touch, it's cold to the touch, because it's very cold now. So you know that cooking process has stopped. You'll notice that it is a beautiful bright green. And then I can just lift this colander straight out of this water. And next I'm going to put a clean dishcloth down, and then I'll pour the broccolini onto that dish towel. And I can spread it out. And then I can cover it with another dish towel and pat it dry. Next, after you patted your broccolini down, or whatever it is, if it's greens, whatever greens that you have, pat them down to remove some of the excess water. You could even flip your towel over. You could fold your towel and flip it, and just want to try to shake it, get some of that water out. And then after you've gotten enough of the water out, you want to use some freezer bags from the Family Dollar. And a lot of times I get them from Walmart, and I usually try to go for the least expensive brand, but make sure that they are freezer bags. So these are some quart size. You want to, try to use it to fit whatever size you and your family are going to use. You can, if you got a small family, use the quart. But if you got a large family, you might want to use those gallon, or if you're expecting some company at some point, you might want to add some gallon bags to the refrigerator, or you can just use a couple of these. But then you just want to put your broccolini into your bag. I'm going to try to make this work. Try to do 2 bags. These broccolini here are smaller than the ones that I harvested a few days ago. But I just went back out there to harvest them because I was asked to show this procedure and how I did it. And I wanted to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I was able to get 2 bags out of this harvest. And you want to try to remove as much of the air from your bag as you can. And you just want to simply squeeze your bag. Try to remove some of the air. Flatten it, as much as you can. And then get to the top, and if you feel like you release some of the air, and seal your bag. And then you can, most of them have a place where you can write the name of the greens or whatever the vegetables that you are freezing, but this one does not, so you can just write it anywhere on there. And I like to write it on there, and if I remember, write the date. Sometimes I don't write anything on there, but I have my marker right here in my pocket. So this is broccolini. This will help me later to know. This is broccolini. And today is 2/13/24. So this is ready to go into my freezer. Now maybe soon we can do a reset and I can get this freezer organized again, because it is no longer organized. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this video today, and that you would give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already subscribed. And go ahead and hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.